Hi, this is Jack Stanley, and I'm talking to you on the different side of the camera, one might say. I thought it would be interesting to show you a few things. I'm getting ready for having surgery again, and I'm going to be immobile for a while. And so I'm kind of finding some books that are of interest to me that I would like to read and study. And there's so many things you want to read and study, and you never seem to get all the research in you want to, or get the chance to read everything that you want to. And sometimes we get lazy and we don't want to read. And, well, I know from my last time I had surgery on my knees, I had several months where I really wasn't moving much at all. So I'm hoping this next surgery will be a lot quicker, but, I'm somewhat of a doubting Thomas, I guess. So I've been pulling some books out and getting myself ready to do some reading. And I thought these would be kind of cool. I haven't read through all of these, read through parts of them, and I haven't really given them complete attention. I think it's time. This is really cool. This is the history of the British expedition in Egypt after they had defeated Napoleon in Egypt. And it's all the story of everything. I mean, it's incredible stuff in here. It's just so much. There's maps and pictures and various diagrams and statements of this, that, and everything else. I mean, this looks like the kind of book that would take you, about a couple of weeks to read it all because there's so much information. And on the other side of the coin, I wanted to read this. This is Napoleon's unfortunate journey in Russia. And got the whole map. Yeah, this whole thing has a map of the route that Napoleon took. But this is the expedition to Russia by Emperor Napoleon in the year of 1812. This was printed in New York in 1825. Quite a bit later than that one about Egypt, which is from 1803. But this is quite fascinating, and it will prove a great thing to read. It's a lot of information once again, but it's the great kind of stuff that's good to have when you're, having lots of fun, just sitting around. This is a cool book, and I have never read through it, and I don't think I will now because I think extracts of it are pretty cool. This is quite old. It's called Elegant Extracts. It's interesting, the publisher of this. See if I open this thing up so you can see. This was a fellow by the name of Patrick Byrne. Let me move this here so you can see better there. Patrick Byrne was a publisher of books in Philadelphia. And he came from Dublin. And he published a lot of his books, which you'll notice it says right here, Dublin. Here we are, Dublin. The interesting thing about this, as I mentioned, he published lots of books in Dublin, but then he was jailed for doing some problematic things, and then came to the United States in Philadelphia and became a bookseller and published books using the same plates that he had in Dublin. So it's sometimes kind of hard to tell when his books were published. One of the things that's very fascinating about his books is he printed a lot of books that he sold to Thomas Jefferson. A lot of Burns' books found their way into Thomas Jefferson's library. I'm sure this same copy probably found it into his library as well. So I'm going to read some of that, but it's just interesting bits of information that he stole this is not an authorized publication. That's one of the reasons he got in trouble before, but this is elegant extracts, and it's really quite an interesting book. So much information, and it's, what is it, like 500-600 pages. Yeah, about 600 pages of information. Let's put it that way. These are books that are kind of interesting. These came out during the Civil War, or at the beginnings of it. This one, Among the Pines, as you'll see here, the South in Secession time, 1862 is when this was published. And it's pretty fascinating. It's got a lot of interesting chapters, a lot on slavery and the thoughts and views about it. This is also a fascinating book here. This is the Uprising of a Great People, the United States in 1861. And once again, fascinating book of lots of fascinating and interesting information, which will be good to sit and absorb while I can't do much of anything else. Here's another book that came out during the Civil War. Let's see if I can get in here. This is The Rise, Progress, and Decline of Secession. Sketches of. And this is from 1862 as well. It seems a little early to be saying that it wasn't going to work, because they were doing pretty good at that time. But once again, this looks like an interesting book to read, and I will, in time, get to that. I have read through most of this other book, but there's still a few areas I haven't. This is the first book to come out on John Brown after his hanging. And this is James Redpath's book, The Public Life of Captain John Brown by James Redpath, with an autobiography of his childhood and youth, written by John Brown, and they would correspond back and forth to each other. And this book was written with the profound agreement of the family. So it was an interesting book in that regard. This is from 1860, as you can see. And of course it has the motto of Virginia, which is Sic Semper Trianus, and Trianus, which is what John Wilkes Booth said after he shot Lincoln. And this is quite fascinating. This has got a lot of information, lots of letters and stuff in the back, the various letters he was writing. So that should prove fun to read. Digging through all these, and there's another set of books that are kind of fascinating that I always look at parts of, but I really should try to read the whole thing. And this is Hernan's Lincoln. This is the full set, the 3 books. What is quite interesting about it is that it's signed by Jesse Welk, who was one of the authors working with William Hernan. And I guess it's Jesse Week, which he signed it up in here. Interesting thing also about this set of books, where it came from. These were in the personal collection of the entertainer Jimmy Durante. Jimmy Durante had a strong love of history and enjoyed reading about history, and these came from his estate, so it's kind of nice to have those and know where they came from. And I'm going to sit and read those, and plus, God knows, I might read some more stuff. Who knows? There's so much stuff to learn. So I've rambled on enough here about this, and showed a few things here. There's always fascinating things to learn, and no matter how old or how young you are, you should never ever stop learning. Because we are suffering in this day and age because so many people don't know their history. We're somewhat historically illiterate, and that's a very dangerous thing. So, that's enough for now. Read your history, find some books to read, and if you have a situation like I'm going to be in, where you're somewhat immobile for a while, find yourself some good books to read. Enrich your mind. Enrich your knowledge. And it's something that you can always have, always keep, and never truly regret. So thank you.